always giving you something to talk about. Welcome to Alaska Matters. I'm Christopher Story, your host for great adventures in the last frontier. Well, what do you want to ban? I mean, that's, let's just ban everything. I say that, I don't know, maybe next the to-go cup. We banned plastic bags here in Homer. Maybe next the to-go cup. You know how many to-go cups I have seen on the road? And one time I saw a family of voles that had moved into a to-go cup. And then along came a tire. And then, bam, they were gone. So let me put it another way. If you, like me, care about the vole community, you will join me in my efforts, along with my good friend Bo Burgess. We are going to attempt to ban everything in Homer that could be, is, might be, should be, ought to be harmful to any creatures of the living world. If you don't join me, I'm throwing the gauntlet down. If you do not join me in protecting the vole community, you're a hater. You don't care about the environment. There. I said it. What do you want to ban? I mean, seriously, it's open season for no good reason. No. Don't tell me that you need to do a little thinking, a little bit of no, you don't need to do any research. You don't need to have any science. You don't need to have any facts. You need to have emotion. You need to care more than the next guy or gal. You just need to say it. Just say, I want to ban it. And you know what you're going to get for your troubles? You're going to get yourself a box of Girl Scout cookies. That's right. Down here at Story Real Estate, I've got a case of cookies, all variety. So actually, it's an overflowing box. So a picture of the box of Girl Scout cookies, and then it's overflowing with little boxes of all variety. One of them is yours. And all you need to do to claim your box of Girl Scout cookies is send me a text with what you would like to ban in Homer next. Now, don't just stop at Homer. Go to Anchor Point, go to Kachemak City, go to Seldovia, go wherever our broadcast footprint is. And because we'll be on the internet later at adventurealaskaradio.com, think about the world. Be a good citizen of the world. I command you to be a good citizen of the world. Look deep or very shallow and find something, even if it's just skin deep. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about the science. Don't worry about logic. Just go with your gut, go with your emotion, and tell me what you would like to ban next. So we got the plastic bags. That's out of the way. What about the bag? I see a lot of people enjoy Gorp. You know what Gorp is? It's like a granola mixture. Maybe there's some chocolate pieces. I don't know. I see a lot of people with it. There is no need to put plastic bags around your Gorp. You can walk out of the grocery store with a handful of Gorp. If you care about this environment, if you care about seagulls and crows and voles, you will carry your Gorp to your car a couple of handfuls at a time. How dare you use a bag? How dare you? What do you want to ban next? I want to ban Gorp bags. Now, right now, you can have certain thin sacks here in Homer for variety of things to include Gorp, and I want to put a stop to the Gorp bag and the to-go cup because of the vole family I saw squished. Now, you might be thinking, wait a minute, Chris, let's take it a step further and ban tires. That's coming, friend. That's coming easy. This is a slow progression. We're boiling the frog. See, I don't want to tip my hand too much, but this is, just lean in. Lean into your radio there. This is a slow progression. We're going to start with the to-go cups to protect the voles, right? It doesn't matter whether there really was a vole family or not. Just forget that. And then we'll move to the tire because the tire means gas is being consumed, right? We're harming the environment. You get where I'm going with this. What do you want to ban? And remember, don't go for it all at once. Start slowly turning the heat on this frog because if you go too much all at once, the frog's going to jump out of the pot. And we don't want that. We want to just slowly cook the frog. The number to text me is 299-7653. 299-7653. 299-7653. And we want to just know, what do you want to ban next? We've been so successful. Now, you're going to think, wait a minute, but I need to think through the punishment. How will I collect a fine? How will I impose it? Don't worry about any of that. The city council didn't. The Homer City Council didn't. Why should you? Don't think through logically step by step. Even when the mayor asks you to come forward with a mechanism by which to enforce and impose your new ordinance, don't worry about it. Just ignore her. Just ignore the person behind the curtain. You're going with the emotions of the moment. The emotions of the moment. Come up with something that sounds too good to oppose, and I guarantee you and I can go forward together and pretty much ban everything. We can do it. 299-7653. What item would you like to ban? An item or person or place or thing. Maybe it could be almost anything. Pick something and ban it. 299-7653. If you'll participate in this little experiment, I promise you a box of Girl Scout cookies of your own choosing. You can come down here to Story Real Estate and pick them up. Just send me a text with your item you'd like to ban. Later on the program, we're going to talk about a time for a paradigm shift. I'm very, very frustrated of late, and I know you have been too. And a friend of mine, a very good friend, somebody that I like, and I have a lot of friends on both sides of almost any issue, it seems, to Mr. Becker's point earlier made during the flea market that we're a very polarized community, country, world at the moment, very politically polarized. That is so true. And I've been thinking about how can I keep a friendship here and still have a debate? How can we discuss issues and not get to a point where, well, fine, you're on that side, I'm on this side, done. We don't need each other anymore. No. We don't want that. What we want is for the other side of this issue, be it the plastic bags, be it the Second Amendment, the Fourth Amendment with drone strikes on Americans, be it the Fifth Amendment with all the manner of strikes that are happening against your private property rights without due process, without just compensation. All of those things, we need to be able to discuss them in such a way that they understand what we're saying and we likewise understand what they're saying. It just so happens we understand they're wrong, my friend. But nevertheless, I think I've got a solution. I want to share it with you. And that'll be coming up. Then we'll also have our Mind Bender, our Alaskan Mind Bender, brought to you by Blackwater Bend Espresso, not your average drip. And then there's something else that I want to play for you. It comes to me from a listener. Actually, I've had so much involvement from you. Thank you so much for the emails, the text messages, the calls, people stopping into our offices here at Story Productions and Story Real Estate and saying, all the positive and just wonderful commentary we've gotten over the past several months has been overwhelming. Thank you. Thank you for those of you that are sharing this program from AdventureAlaskaRadio.com. It's all fantastic. In fact, I got today an email just in time before the program to get it queued up and play just a few minutes of it. And this comes to you from the black conservative leaders, African-American conservative leaders, however we're supposed to say it. But basically, you've got the leader of the Black Chamber of Commerce. You have the Congress for Racial Equality leader. There's a religious leader in this group. There's a whole, I'm going to play, it's about 3 or 4 people in a 3-minute montage of what they think about your Second Amendment rights and their Second Amendment rights. And when we come back from this, don't go anywhere because I'm going to play this and then I'm going to tell you about the event coming up for the NRA here in Homer. Now listen to this.
I want to thank the Lord for our Constitution. I also want to thank the NRA for its legacy. The National Rifle Association was founded by religious leaders who wanted to protect free slaves from the Ku Klux Klan. They would raise money, buy arms, show the free slaves how to use those arms, and protect their families. God bless you. Many of us probably wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for the NRA.
But let me just briefly say that gun control, for black Americans, we know that gun control has ultimately been about people control. It sprouts from racist soil, be it after during the infamous Dred Scott case, where black man's humanity was not recognized. And the beauty about some racists is that sometimes they're blatantly honest. And the racist Chief Justice Taney said, we cannot allow the law to recognize the humanity of this individual because he would be able to keep and bear arms. When a lot of Democratic-controlled segregationist governments after the Civil War attempted to deny black men and women their freedom, they instituted black codes, largely to deny the Second Amendment from newly freed slaves.
Right after the Emancipation Proclamation, what was going on down in the southern states, it's very clear that the Dixiecrats wanted to disarm black people to keep us from defending ourselves against the Klansmen who were murdering white and black Republicans to control the ballot box. So I think history is ripe with examples of there's a correlation, direct correlation between gun control and black people control.
And I mean, you just don't hear this much honesty very often. You just don't hear people speaking out and saying, you know what, this is the way it is. But, you know, you hear that here on Alaska Matters. Coming up on Saturday is the local National Riflemen's Association auction and benefit. And you know that every single dollar that is raised goes here in the local effort for shooting sports and educating the youth. The youth. And that's where the education needs to take place. Not scare kids out of turning a sandwich into a gun. Educate the youth, educate the children. That's exactly what the NRA auction is all about. It's Saturday at Land's End from 5 to 10 o'clock. The auction's going to start right around 6 p.m., I'm told. Tickets are $60. You can pick them up at the Gear Shed, Ulmer's, Smokin' in Anchor Point, and a couple of other establishments. Any questions, give John a call, 399-3610. 399-3610. Yours truly will be the auctioneer. It will be a great time. It'll be a blast. Dare I infuse the pun? It will be a blast. So will the rest of Alaska Matters. Don't go anywhere. Lots more to come right here. Remember, we're looking for your banned item, 299-7653. Earn yourself a box of Girl Scout cookies, 299-7653. Shoot me a text message. What do you want to ban? Where do you want to start? Some people have got some pretty comical things to say so far. 299-7653. Join in the fun. All right. So I want to talk about Blackwater Bend Mindbender here. We've got our Alaskan Mindbender. I want to give away a couple of coffee cards. So I'll do this now. I'll ask the question now, and we'll get back and delve into the Alaskan Mindbender question later. But first, let me ask it. You can text me your answer, name and answer this time around, name and answer to 299-7653. Win yourself a coffee card. Now, this is not a cup of coffee. This is a coffee card. Pat has also told me in the past that you can exchange the coffee card for a bag of beans. They're award-winning, custom-blended beans, roasted to perfection from Blackwater Bend Espresso. Here you go. Milwaukee was also founded by Joe Juneau. True or false? Think this one through. Milwaukee was also founded by Joe Juneau. True or false? Your name, please, and answer to 299-7653. I'm going to put that right over here so I don't forget to give out the answer because it's important. 299-7653. Okay. Is it time for a paradigm shift? And I'm being facetious when I talk about what should we ban next, but you know what? You agree with me. I know it. That's where this is headed. I've got a couple of stories here. Two different listeners have emailed me these two different stories. I'd found one of them and had not seen the second. The first story says, store owners say plastic bag ban causes more shoplifting. The bag ban is contributing to thousands of dollars in losses for at least one Seattle grocer. The questions have been raised about the risk of foodborne illnesses also from the reusable bags the shoppers don't often wash. Now, I posted this story to my Facebook page, and a friend of mine from Seattle goes, oh, I didn't know you're supposed to be washing those bags. So partly it's education. Mostly this is behavior modification law. This is a law designed to change how you behave. Is it going to work in reducing the environmental pollution? Is it going to reduce your carbon footprint as a community or the world? The answer can be found in the second article. By the way, how are people shoplifting more easily and readily with these reusable bags? Think about it. You're walking in with a big bag of bags. You say, oh, this is my bag of bags. Oh, okay. It's obvious you're going to be putting things into the bag. You're not necessarily shopping with a cart, or you are in something. One for the shop, one for me, one for the cart, one for my bag. Easy. It's so much easier. The store owners are saying we have to be so much more vigilant. We have to try. They've lost this one store. It's a private little mom and pop grocery there in Seattle has lost $9,000 worth of pilferage above and beyond what they already were pilfered. This is above and beyond after the Seattle City Council enacted the bag ban. Here's another article sent to me by a listener out in Anchor Point. Banning plastic grocery bags may be overall a negative for the environment. But how can that be? How can this be? No, we're doing this to protect the environment. Well, banning the bags may actually be a net negative for the environment, yielding little environmental benefit while increasing carbon emissions and other impacts. How can this be? Advocates of the banned bags cite that the effect on marine life and mammals, unfortunately, their facts and claims are often false and misleading. They say that there's over a million seabirds and 100,000 marine mammals killed by either plastic ingestion or entanglement. In fact, the assertion has nothing to do with plastic bags, according to NOAA, who corrected, now this is the National Oceanographic Association, said, we are so far unable to find a scientific reference for this figure. Only now NOAA can find, the only study NOAA can find that does not deal with the plastic bags or even marine debris, but the active fishing gear bycatch. In other words, fishing nets that are used at sea, not discarded plastic bags. Even Greenpeace weighs in on it, folks. Greenpeace biologists quoted the Times of London and agreed, saying, it's very unlikely that many animals are killed by plastic bags. The evidence shows just the opposite. We're not going to solve the problem of waste by focusing on plastic bags. Additionally, the Woods Hole Oceanographic Institute found plastic in general in the Atlantic Ocean has not increased at all since the 1980s. That's just fascinating. Put simply, ends the article, plastic bag bans have become more about the latest environmental fad than actual environmental benefit. Well, how can this be? How can I sit here and say to you that I think it's behavior control? It's just, well, as that leader said a little bit ago, it's people control. The gun control is people control. So is the plastic bag ban. And how can it be that a friend of mine could be listening to this very program right now, seething, angry at me? Angry. She's a friend, and yet she's angry at my position on this. How can it be? How can I look at that evidence? How can I look at those articles? How can I go out of my way to find them and come to a conclusion 180 degrees opposite of my good friend? How can this be? Well, it's a paradigm shift that is needed. In other words, you have a map of the world as you see it, based on influences up to now. I have a map of the world as I see it, based on influences up until this point in my life. So an interesting study that was done at, it was actually an experiment done in the Harvard University study. And they showed students, half of the class got to see a picture for 10 seconds of what appeared to be a young woman looking away. You could see her neckline, a necklace, her ear, and an eye looking away. Then the other half of the class was given a very crude drawing, similar, but crude enough that you would actually see this old, like a witch. Very, big nose, kind of a looking woman. And so they were allowed to look at that picture for 10 seconds. That thus created their reference, their map of the world has just been imprinted upon them. Then the Harvard professor showed them emergence of the two, a integration of those two photographs, those two drawings or renderings. Now, if you look closely, you can see the young woman looking away, but also you can see this old woman. You go, oh, wait a minute, it's a trick. I can see both. But the people that saw the young woman argued till they were blue in the face that, no, it's a young woman, here's how. No, it's an old woman, here's how. The two sides were looking at the same information, arriving at a different conclusion. Same as you and I when we discuss this plastic bag ban, Second Amendment rights, Fourth Amendment rights relative to, say, a government official deciding you can be executed with an unmanned drone in another country. Maybe you're in Dublin next week and the drone is flying overhead. You got to watch out. The Constitution doesn't protect you anymore. The Fifth Amendment, taking your property, the Bridge Creek Watershed Protection District, taking 95% of your property. I see it that way. The proponents of the Bridge Creek Watershed Protection District saw it as we're protecting the environment. If you develop a home of this size, you could impact our watershed. And I see it as absolute sliding towards collectivism, where the collective, the central government, has all the power. You, the people, the individual, have very little power. How can we get on the same map? How can we take those two pictures of the world and put them together and see freedom and see what our founding fathers meant and what they wanted to establish? How can you and I ever come together if you agree that well, you know what? We're going to say hello to a new sponsor, and we'll answer the question when we come back. And we'll also answer the question for the Blackwater Bend Espresso Mind Bender. So I want to welcome Fred and Carol from Staytan, and we'll go ahead and take a listen to that now. So don't go anywhere. More to come here on Alaska Matters. You're listening to Alaska Matters. I'm Christopher Story, your host for Great Adventures in the Last Frontier, along with Dave Webb, engineering and producing this program back up at the mothership. I want to thank Tim White for getting our new sponsor on air today. That would be Staytan. So thanks a lot to Fred and Carol for joining the Alaska Matters family. In fact, man, I feel like going over and tanning today. This is one of those kind of days where I could use a little bit of sunshine. All right, Alaska Matters brings you the Blackwater Bend Espresso brings you the Alaskan Mind Bender. So here's the question. Milwaukee was also founded by Joe Juneau. And I'm giving this to Jim and Cindy, and neither one of you got it right, but that's okay. It's Jim and Cindy, you're our winners, because this was a trick question. I specifically chose this question, and it's a little bit of a trick question because while the answer is not true, and everybody thought it was. It's for the most part. I had so many texts, I couldn't go through them all. I apologize. But Jim and Cindy, you're the winners. So here's the deal. Joe Juneau's cousin, Solomon Juneau, founded Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Milwaukee. Can you believe it? These guys are founders. That's pretty incredible. And guess what? They're Canadian. They're not even American. Canadians. Milwaukee was discovered and founded by Solomon Juneau. Of course, Juneau, Alaska, founded by Joe Juneau, the prospector. So anyway, Jim, Cindy, thank you. And thank you to everybody else who participated. Just with a limited amount of time, not enough time to go through and thank you all, but you know who you are. So what do you want to ban? Let's go do that real quick, because a lot of you participated and are getting your Girl Scout cookies, and I don't want to deny you the privilege of reading what you want to ban on air. This person wants to ban the IRS. You're not going to get any complaints out of me. Let's get an appropriate theme going here. Now we're talking. All right, what do we want to ban? We want to ban the IRS. How about banning the people who want to ban things? I like that. How about we ban greed and stupidity? Okay, I like that. Cell phones. I was going to say hippies, but I'll heed your slow cooking warning. And say, let's start with petroleum oil. I have the greatest job. I would like to ban the people banning things. There's another one. I want to ban roundabouts. I can't think straight. This is great. Good stuff. Thank you. And there's way more there. Too many to get to. Thank you. You know who you are. Come down here to Story Real Estate. Pick up your box of Girl Scout cookies. Yeah, better hurry up, because we don't have that many Thin Mints, and I know that's everybody's favorite. So let's just close the loop here today. What do we know? We know that there are certain people that will never see things the way that you see them. I believe that I've got this solution for you. And this is not rolling over. This is not giving up, even though it may sound like it. I want you to follow the advice of Stephen Covey. And when you're discussing anything like this that's divisive or polarized, simply seek first to understand, then be understood. That means we got to listen. I know sometimes it ain't easy. See you tomorrow on Radio Realty. Go out there and have a great day.